what do you see? I know they're saying, Painter's body language looks a lot different than when he was struggling. Nola seemed like he was keeping the ball down, and that knuckle curve his last outing was just nasty. I think he got
Okay.
8 strikeouts on the knuckle curve. So
Well,
what
on
are
both
you
of them.
seeing out of those two?
Well, on both of them. We'll start with Nola. Obviously, command uh, seems to be a little better. And obviously, the other day his breaking ball was stupid. It was. And I think the key to that, and I think Mattingly said on the interview, he said the way the ball's coming out of his hand on his breaking ball, as a hitter, you can't tell what it is, and that's what you want to be. See,
Right.
sometimes when you got a good curveball like Nola, because it's a bender, man, it's a big breaker. Sometimes it wants to pop up a little bit out of your hand, and hitters recognize that. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that Nola was doing that, but he said he knew the other day in his outing the other day, it was probably one of the best ones he's seen him have, for the sole fact when it was coming out of his hand, it was like a fastball on that same plane, and then it was taken.
Right.
It wasn't popping up out of his hand. And when that's happening, it makes your fastball play up, and it makes you, and it disrupts timing. And when you start doing that, you can get away with some things.
Well, it also helps his knuckle curve too.
Obviously, with him is the big thing. He's been to me, like you hit it on the head. Consciously effort with his fastball down in the zone. It's been a lot better. Yeah. And then Painter was the one. He obviously, he seems to be more confident. Whatever he did, whatever they worked on down in AAA when he come back up, because we didn't get an arm or another starter at the deadline. They went that route with him to give him the opportunity to come back and do whatever they worked on. His finish, whatever they do it's gotten better. Which is good. The way he finishing his pitches, he looks like he's more aggressive with his finish,
right,
a little bit with his fastball. And yesterday, he was out of the middle of the zone for the most part with things. His breaking balls and his fastball, he was throwing it to, he was like splitting the plate in half and working to the halves better, rather less than working down the middle, So,
yeah, and I'm wondering whether Dombrowski and Preston Mattingly saw that, that he was kind of, they know Andrew Painter, and they saw him down the minor leagues progressing, and they're probably like, our priority is more, let's get a hitter that can make contact, and maybe if it's taking a little bit of a risk, but if Painter can come back to what we think he's going to be, then we don't need. And now again, the depth thing is a little scary. But did you hear? I'm sure you saw the news. They picked up Nestor Cortez, who was a free agent. Now, not sure he's coming off injury down year, but he's a guy that's had success in the majors before.
Yeah.
And so we'll see where that figures out. So
you never know. But the thing with Painter, Braze, is, sometimes failure, you're going to fail.
Yep.
You just didn't want to see him fail in that capacity that much right off the bat. Sometimes it's a hard teacher and a gut check and punch to you to go figure out what's going on. And he seems like he's saying all the right things in the way what he's saying.
And his body language showed that he's more confident.
He just looks. He looks confident out there right now. He's got some conviction behind the pitches he threw. He threw everything well yesterday. His changeup, his 2 breaking balls, and his fastball. So which is that's what he can do. He's got 4 pitches that I know of. They're always, it seems like everybody's trying to throw 5 or 6 or whatever. But if you can command at least 3 of them, you're going to be in pretty good shape, especially the fastball. And that's a huge thing with him is him finishing the fastball and throwing it in a quality area. It don't have to be perfect, but it's got to be in a quality area. And that conviction yesterday looked like it's something that they really worked on with him when he was down there, and it's kind of carried over on the way up here.